last month it was weird because we started out on fire. We were I don't know what, it's like a light switch went off and we just died at the end of last month. We're getting back to a situation where a lot of these dealerships are getting desperate and they need to move back to the volume model where they're taking a lot of money off. I mean, I can give you an example on this, which I thought was cool. All right, so I'm going to show you something right here. You see this? This Wheel of Fortune. It looks like a little gambling flyer or whatever. It's got little things on the back where you can pull these tabs. This right here is an ad from a Jeep, Dodge, and Ram dealership. And what's very interesting about this is that in the last 5 years, we'll say even before COVID, that's the last time that I have been mailed a ad from a dealership. Another interesting thing that I've observed, and I was talking to a buddy about this, and he was like, you know what? It seems like every other commercial on the radio right now is a ad for a dealership. And the reason why I want to bring this up is because over the last 5 years, over the last 6 years, these dealerships have not had to do this. We're getting back to a situation where a lot of these dealerships are getting desperate and they need to move back to the volume model where they're taking a lot of money off. I mean, I can give you an example on this, which I thought was cool. They have a Jeep Commander, no, not a Commander, a Gladiator, a 2025, so a year old, and they're selling it, and they say the all-in price is $40,000. And they actually list the MSRP on this, and it's $47,850. The other thing that they list on this is that fee includes their doc fee, because they have to do that now because of the actual FTC. But for them to be taking 20% off, it goes from $48,000 down to $40,000. That's right at 20% off when they back out their doc fee and stuff like too. They're taking right at 20% off of a brand new vehicle. Now, yes, it's a year old, but it's still 20% off MSRP. You can argue that Jeep is not worth $40,000 to begin with. That's a whole separate argument. But in the last few years, there's no dealerships out there that have had to take 20% off MSRP. Then on top of that, send freaking flyers to people in the mail. They're sending flyers in the mail. They have not had to spend money on advertising. They're putting advertisements on radio right now. This is where the car market is, and this is where we're going to continue to go. You're having more incentives come from manufacturers. You're having dealerships that have to do volume because they're not able to make it up on the front end anymore with add-ons, with market adjustments. This is the new situation of the car market. It's going to progressively get worse for a lot of these dealerships too, because guess what? Manufacturers, they're not lowering the prices of the cars that they're actually putting out. They have to still do all this EPA crap on these cars. They have to put all these sensors. They have to do all this tech still on these vehicles. So the price of the vehicles that they're manufacturing aren't getting cheaper. So it's going to be that there's going to be a rock and a hard place for a lot of these dealerships, a lot of these franchise dealers. It's going to be very difficult for them to figure out how to actually make money when they're having to lower the price by 20% to even get someone in the door. Now, the other argument you can have for this, they have that one cheap Jeep that they're knocking 20% off. Maybe it's a bait and switch thing where they don't actually have that Jeep, but that's another thing that the FTC is cracking down on. So there's a lot of negatives, a lot of headwinds that are hitting a lot of these franchise dealerships right now. A lot of consumers that are weak, not wanting to spend up. You have interest rates still relatively high as far as what they've been in recent memory. You have manufacturers that aren't lowering their prices. They're adding incentives, but they aren't actually lowering their prices. And then you have volumes that have to come, and you have more marketing budgets that have to be spent right now because they have to get customers in the door. A lot of struggle coming for a lot of these dealerships. And I think this is an easy tell with it right here. Wheel of Fortune. I didn't even see if we won anything. Did you? Let's see.
You're not supposed to do that until you get to the dealership. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that did say that, but
I got a wild card.
Oh.
You know what? We don't need to take up space with this. All right.
How is CarMax's stock price going up so much since mid-May?
Because it went down so much last year. It got crushed 50%, and then the whole market's going up. Let me look here. CarMax, let's look in the last 6 months. We are up 33% in the last 6 months. In the last year, even with it being up 33% in the last 6 months, in a year, it's still down 25%. So it cratered so much. And in the stock market, I used to study a lot of stuff in the stock market. I used to trade a lot of stocks. And when a stock goes from horrible to just bad is when you can actually make the most amount of money in a stock. So it has gone in CarMax's situation from last year being absolutely atrocious, horrible, one of the worst companies that you could own, to this year just being just really, really bad. And that's when you get that variance of a stock price that can bounce. It can bounce pretty hard. It's probably been a lot of short volume in CarMax too, with the car market not being all that great. But you just have to keep in mind, you look at the overall thing. You can't just gauge something from a 6-month window. Yeah, it's going up, and it's going up really well this year. Everything's going up this year. We've had a lot of turmoil that's happened with stuff overseas, a lot of geopolitical stuff. But overall, the AI trade has really boosted the market. When that happens, the rest of the market's going to follow along suit, and you're going to get a lot of winners in a market that maybe the winners shouldn't be winners. CarMax is probably one of those names. Maybe it fell way too much last year. It went down 50%. Their market cap got cut in half last year. That's how bad it was. So, yeah, you can look at the beginning of last year and then look at it where it is now, and we're still underwater at that point. But yeah, maybe it got hit way too much, and that's probably why it's done so well this year. And a lot of times markets, what do? They overshoot. Yes, things were bad, but probably weren't as bad as the stock portrayed last year. Yeah, this year it's looking a little bit better than it was last year, but maybe the stock probably has overshot a little bit too. Seems like there's more weakness in the market than a company that should be going up 30% this year. Probably a little overbought at this point, would be my guess. This is not financial. What's the term? This is not financial advice. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know anything. I'm an idiot. So
yep.
There you go.
Correct. What?
You're not supposed to agree with me.
I thought you wanted me to agree with you. How did June sales look?
June, we actually made a little bit of money, which is weird for a summer month for us. Last year, this time, we went through a 6-month span where I made $0. We actually made, I would guess, somewhere in the neighborhood of like 10,000 maybe in June would be my guess. But last month we did a little bit worse. But last month it was weird because we started out on fire. We were, I don't know what, it's like a light switch went off and we just died at the end of last month. But this month, I'll say this month, but we're through with June now. But June actually turned out pretty well. It didn't feel all that good throughout June, but the end numbers actually came in. It seems like we were probably buoyed by a couple days that were really good, and that's typically what happens with my business because we need to sell. We need to sell between like 45 to probably 50-ish cars just to break even at my dealership. So if we can hit that in like the third or the beginning of the fourth week of a month, then we can typically do pretty good. And it's a lot of week by week for us, and a lot of hit and miss. And in a lot of cases, it can come down to the weather too, especially summertime right now, super hot here in North Carolina. And we'll get a bunch of like days in a row, 2 or 3 days in a row, where it's just like monsoon level rains, and it's you're just not going to sell any cars in something like that. If we hit the end of a month where we have half of our selling days in a week where it's just downpour, like we're only going to sell 1, maybe 2 cars in the span of 3 or 4 days. And that's rough for us because we have a lot of expenses. We have a lot of payroll that we have to pay. And if we got to hit 45 to 50 cars every single month to actually break even, every day counts, and it gets tough on us, and it can be very stressful, especially for me, who is the one in charge of making the decisions to figure out how to either move more cars. Okay, we got lower prices, so we can raise our volume. Okay, our price is okay. We're not buying the right kind of cars. There's a lot of stressful thinking that goes into what we're doing, and because we can cut it close. We don't make a ton of money. We don't make a lot of money like a lot of other car dealers do. We don't have a lot of back end stuff that we can put on the cars, and the competition's pretty tough with the level of cars that we're selling and the amount that we're selling them at. Yeah, we're cheaper than everybody else, and we can do more volume than all the other dealers in our area that's selling something similar, but it comes at a cost. And the reason why we're able to do that is because we price our stuff cheaper. And if we're pricing our stuff cheaper than they are, then we're making less per vehicle than a lot of these other dealers. And for us to break even and make a little bit of money each and every month, then we got to do volume, and volume's tough to do. And also keep your expenses lower, because the more volume you do, the more people that you have to have there, and your expenses can go up and balloon very quickly.
I do not see many trucks on your lot. Are they too expensive?
Yeah, we can't buy trucks. So you got to think about what we do. We have a car dealership. I sell cars that are $5,000 and under. In that range, I could buy SUVs. I can buy vans. I buy a lot of vans and sell them for $5,000 and under. What I still can't get, even with prices coming down, what they have in the last 2 to 3 years, trucks have still not even crept into anywhere close to our range. And here's the thing: over the last couple of years, we've had a couple. I think we've had a few F-150s that we've been able to buy and sell and be right there at $5,000 that we were selling it for. But they were dogs. Like they were. I mean, they ran fine, but they were rough on the inside. Seats torn, stains. Like, it's got to be that kind of thing. Bad paint. It's got to be that bad. High mileage. What else? Smells like a dog. Probably some cat urine in it somewhere. It's got to be like that for us to be able to buy it. Trucks aren't cheap, and the only way for them to get to a area where we're going to be able to sell them is that if people aren't working, if guys aren't building houses, if contractors aren't working, and we're not there yet. I know the housing market has not been great as of the last 12 months, but builders are still building, and they're they're shifting a lot to hopefully some more affordable housing that's going to help the economy out. But as of right now, builders are still building, contractors are still contracting, things are still rolling. And as things are still rolling, then trucks will still be high, and I won't be able to have them. So we might have one truck out of every 300 cars that we buy. That's probably pretty close. Would you, or is it even worse than that? One out of every 500. You're not listening.
I'm sorry, I was reading.
Okay,
no clue what you're talking about.
One out of every how many vehicles we buy you think is a truck?
Oh, so one out of every 500 would mean that we get potentially one or two.
We get 2 trucks a year. Yeah.
I
don't think we get 2 trucks a year.
More than that, like it's.
I bet we get 1 truck every year for the last 5 years.
On average, yeah.
Yep.
I think there have been years we had none. So on average, I think that's probably right.
Yeah. So 1 out of every, we'll probably do 800, 900 cars this year. 1 out of 800 or 900. Yeah, but you can't buy them. And the thing about it is, the ones that I can buy, like, I don't feel good about selling because they're so rough. So no, you just can't. You can't find them. You can't buy them. Trucks way too expensive, and they're not going to be on my lot because I can't sell them for under $5,000. I sell trucks that I have to sell vehicles. Every once in a while, we'll have something that's $5,500, but I try to be the dealer that has cars that are $5,000 and under, and trucks they don't fall into that range.
Do you buy from individuals?
I don't. The reason why I don't, and we get people that come in all the time and ask us to buy their vehicle, and they bring it there, and I say the same thing every time someone comes in and says, they say, okay, well, I've got this truck outside. I wanted to see if you wanted to buy it from me. And it's probably true that if we would take trade-ins, or if I would buy from individuals, I could get a really good deal and end up making money on the other side of it. But what I have to tell them, being transparent how I am and being honest how I am running this car business that I'm running, is that, look, you don't want to sell me this car. It's going to be better for you if you go list it on Facebook, Marketplace, Craigslist, whatever. You'll be able to get way more for it than what I can give to you. I go to these auctions. I'm able to buy this stuff wholesale. So I'm going to have to literally rip you off, and I have to look at someone in the eyes and tell them, if I'm going to buy it, I'm going to have to rip you off because I have to make money off of this car. So I can't buy it from you. I would not feel good about buying it from you. You might have a $4,000 car sitting out there, but I have to pay you $2,500 for it. That is not fair for you. And I do not want to only give you $2,500 for a $4,000 car, because I can go to the auction and I can buy that same vehicle for $2,500. So that's why I don't buy cars from individuals, is because I don't feel good about it. One, two, I hope to give them a little information so they can actually go sell it themselves and get a good value on it. But 9 times out of 10, that person is probably just looking for some quick cash and dump it. And they're just going to go to the next dealer, and that next dealer is going to pay him $2,100 for it instead of $2,500 that I would have paid them for it. So they would have made out better with me. But I don't feel good about it. I don't want to be in the business of ripping off people and taking their cars from them and giving them almost nothing for it. And I understand the argument to say, okay, well, if you're going to give them a little bit more for it, then it's better for them if they just buy it from you, right? I get it. But I'm not comfortable still giving someone way less for their vehicle than what it's worth. And at that point too, I can still just buy the car cheaper or for the same price at an auction that they would sell it to me for. I don't feel good about it. And so we just say no.
We don't take trade-ins either for the same reason.
Do not take trade-ins.